Hey everyone, it's Russ Nesevich with Nesevich Law. Good evening. Thanks for joining me tonight on this still snowing and cold everywhere, it seems, because it looks like we're going to get snow all week this week here in my hometown of Lumberton, my office in Moorestown, the other office up in Manalapan, New Jersey. But it seems like all of a sudden we're in Buffalo and Syracuse. I wanted to talk to you a little bit tonight about a really interesting article that was in Barron's this week, actually. So I don't know how many of you get Barron's. I try to get it every weekend. But the article is titled The Other Pandemic. And it talks about COVID a little bit, but what it really talks about is Alzheimer's disease. And it talks about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, Alzheimer's disease being a cause of dementia. And it's something that we deal with a lot in our estate planning practice. We deal with people occasionally who are unfortunately too far down the path of Alzheimer's and dementia where they can't even sign their documents anymore, or we're looking for guardianship for people to take over and act as healthcare guardians or financial guardians for them. Sometimes we're doing planning well in advance for Medicaid planning, not only for long-term care, potentially for Alzheimer's or for dementia, but also for other things. So all of these things kind of fall in the same realm: long-term care planning, Medicaid planning, thinking about how we're going to be dealt with and what kind of life we're looking at as we age. So there's a couple of really interesting statistics that I wanted to share with you in this article, but a couple of things that I just wanted to read very specifically to make sure that I got them correct. Families grappling with Alzheimer's often face awful choices, but it has been taken to new heights over the past year. Roughly a third of the 450,000 COVID deaths in the US, roughly a third, have been at long-term care facilities like nursing homes, and about half of those residents are living with Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia. So many of the people in nursing homes are there because they're dealing with Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, and their families just can't care for them anymore. Alzheimer's is a progressive brain disease. It's a disease that gets worse and worse over time. And it's one of the most common causes of dementia. The problem is that of the top 10 causes of death globally, it's the only one that can't be cured, slowed down, or prevented at this point. Now, at least not yet. There's some exciting and interesting therapies that they talk about a little bit in the article. But right now, today, no cure, no therapy, not a lot that can be done once you have that Alzheimer's diagnosis in sort of slowing it down or preventing it. Very few treatments available. The direct costs come from skilled nursing care, from paid healthcare, from hospice. Some of this is covered by Medicaid for very, very low income Americans. You really have to be really below the poverty line. Otherwise, it's really not covered by Medicare. So families have to fit the bill. So Medicaid covers it, but you have to have no money for Medicaid. So Medicare doesn't necessarily fit the bill. You've got care for someone with dementia estimated at about $360,000, according to the Alzheimer's Association. And most of that is unfortunately borne by families, or it really depletes the assets of the people who are sick. Last thing that I'll read to you out of this article, and then I want to just comment on it a little bit. Unlike cancer or heart disease, much of the cost related to Alzheimer's disease comes from caregiving. Medicare doesn't cover most of the long-term care. Medicaid covers more, but requires near impoverishment to qualify. The average Medicaid payment for those 65 and older with Alzheimer's is 23 times as high for those without Alzheimer's on an annual basis. Caregiving, typically associated with helping other adults with feeding, bathing, grooming, or using a toilet, but those needs typically come in the last third of the disease. The first 2/3 largely focused on helping Alzheimer's patients with daily life, including monitoring medicines, finances, transportation, keeping them engaged. The average caregiver spends about 5 years in care for a dementia patient. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you pick it up, take a look. It's really a terrific article. These are the things that we think about when we deal with people and we look at their long-term care needs, their potential planning for Medicaid, how we're going to deal with them as they age. 70% of Americans will at some point need some sort of long-term care, some sort of stay in a rehab facility. The question is, what, if anything, have you done to plan for it? And what, if anything, can you do to plan for it and to take that burden off of your family? If you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning, Alzheimer's, long-term care planning, by all means, please give us a call, 856-439-6223. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.